Hello, it's me, Maple, and today I was going to give you a little bit of a haircut and a little bit of a shave too, because I do a lot of barbershop videos since you guys love them and I like making them too. But I realized that I've never given you a haircut. It's always some sort of role play. But we're gonna fix that today. I'm just gonna start by putting on some moisturizer so I can give you a little bit of a face massage. And this is probably the nicest part, at least for me, of doing a non-roleplay, is that I can play around with the triggery things more than I can. Because in a roleplay, I would feel weird about playing with the lid of the moisturizer for more than 30 seconds. Because that's not realistic. But now I can do whatever I want. There are no rules. But there we go. One thing I also wanted to do with this video is make this one my live premiere for the month. And then that way, as I'm rambling about whatever's in my head, or maybe some behind the scenes information, then you guys can respond to those as they come up in, the live chat. So then it's like we're having a conversation, but in the future. Well, I guess the future for me, but the past for you. Whoa, everything's relative. But I thought that would be fun. So for me right now, it's a one-way conversation, but we can have a two-way conversation in the future. I feel like the more I talk about this idea, the stupider it sounds, but I'm still on board. Good. Just massaging your skin a little bit. And then also it'll soften all your follicles. Give you a much nicer shave. And also it feels nice to have a face massage, so there's really no downside. Okay, well that says I'll give you your haircut, but I think we just need to wet it a bit first. my teeny tiny spray bottle. Just to wet it a little bit. Which, this is good behind the scenes. If you ever see me using a spray bottle, that's probably the hardest for me to act, because I'm obviously more concerned with my equipment getting wet at that point in time. Which I know just a little bit of mist probably isn't going to hurt my equipment, but it's very expensive. I don't want to damage it. So when I'm editing, I can see in my eyes that I usually break character at least a little bit if I'm doing a role play, because I'm focusing on my equipment. But as long as I'm careful, I'll be okay. So, but let's just comb that in for you. Your hair is very, very soft. Yeah. It's going to be really easy to work with, I think. Perfect. And then, time for some snips. Which I now have a little story about hairstylists in ASMR. Because across the street, there's a woman who cuts hair. She has a little studio in her backyard. It's actually really, really nice for, a backyard studio. And she cuts my mom's hair. And so for my mom's last haircut, our neighbor was asking her how I was doing and what I was doing for work, since she hadn't talked to my mom since before I came back to Canada. And my mom, who's very supportive of this YouTube channel, was telling her about how I'm a YouTuber now and I do ASMR videos. And the woman, the neighbor, she was telling my mom how she doesn't get ASMR herself, like tingles. But she said that when she was in hairstyling school, sometimes she would take a minute and just close her eyes, because she said the sound of, 30 different pairs of scissors around her. It was very relaxing to hear the constant snip, 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 snip. So anyways, I thought that was kind of cool. Especially from someone who doesn't experience tingles necessarily. Because sometimes I do worry, well, not worry, but ASMR is such a subjective thing. And some people watch it specifically for tingles. And some people don't get tingles. Some people watch it only for relaxation. Some people are just a bit lonely. They want to feel like someone's there for them. So I try to be inclusive of all of these groups when I'm making ASMR, so it's nice to hear that some of the triggers that I think are only for tingles can be relaxing for everyone. But I'm just gonna go and get the back. Okay. So, I don't know if it's obvious, but these bits where I'm quote unquote behind you, I usually film at a different time. Just because it doesn't make sense to record all the video if I'm not on camera or anything. And then I can do it on a different day. And I don't have to do my full hair and makeup as well, which can take a while. So right now, for example, it's the next day. Whoa, I know, crazy. I'm sorry if you feel like I've been lying to you. But I really like doing these behind bits. Since it allows me to get closer to the mics. Since I don't have to worry about how I look on the camera. And also, I can wear my headphones. So I feel safer getting closer to the mics. Because if I can't hear myself, I'm afraid of spiking or doing something that sounds bad. But it looks like you're all done back here, so with some Hollywood magic, let's go back to front maple. looking extra fabulous. Are you happy with that? Or do you want it changed up at all? No? Good. Perfect. Well, then let's move on to your shave. Now, when I moved back to Canada, I didn't bring my lather, like shaving lather, because it was a bit bulky to travel with. So I've put bubble bath in a bowl, and I'm gonna see how that works, because I feel like that'll lather. Okay, good, it works. I would have felt very silly if it didn't work, because I didn't even bring another option. But let's get this nice and lathered for you. Which, also for my role plays, I always soak the brush in water, because I guess it softens the bristles and makes it nicer for applying. But I think it lathers nicer without the water. And since you guys can't feel it anyways, I think it's okay if I don't soften the bristles. But that looks nice and foamy. So let's just lather up your face for you. It might feel a little bit cold, but not in an uncomfortable way. Just nice and soothing. Exactly. And could you raise your chin up? Good, 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 good. Okay. Perfect. Well, time to move on to your shave. And I'm just going to be going very slowly, very softly. Nice, delicate touches. So, one thing I've been thinking about a little bit was a couple days ago I was rewatching one of the Bo Burnham Netflix specials. I think it was Make Happy. I always get them confused. The one that ends with the Kanye song. If you've seen it, you'll know what I mean. But he had said something in that song, actually, which stuck out to me, I guess. He was kind of mentioning how, there's a balance when you're a creative person, because on one hand, you want the person who's consuming your content to really enjoy themselves. You want them to have, the best experience possible. But on the other hand, you also want to, stay true to you as an artist. You don't want to sell out or compromise on something you feel passionate about, I guess. But with all that being said, I've just been thinking about how I'm very, very lucky with you guys, because you are all so supportive. I like to experiment a lot and do videos that, I'm not sure will be as popular. Like my Legend of Zelda video, or any of the videos where I'm like, hey, I'm gonna try something new today, because I do love to do that. But I have had comments before where people have said, this specific video or this trigger isn't my cup of tea, but I still wanted to come out and, give you a like and a comment, because I want to support you. And not that I'm saying you have to do that all the time. That's not what I'm saying. But it's just nice that people want to support me doing what I want to do. And, I've never gotten a comment that's like, boo, I don't like this. Go back to making medical role plays or barbershop role plays or anything like that. People are generally just, this video wasn't for me, but I look forward to your next video. And yeah, I guess what I'm saying is I'm lucky that I've never felt like I've had to sacrifice my artistic integrity. So yeah, yay me. I never know how to end these more serious tangents. Like, So anyways, back to your shape. How do you have a good transition? I'm bad at transitions. Maybe I'll just get into using like star wipes. And so when I'm done with a random tangent, just star wipe and back to your shape. But anyways, yeah, if you are here on the live premiere, let me know what you think about that, because I'm always interested to hear your guys' opinions. But we are just about finished here. I'm just going to wipe off the little smudges here just to see if I missed anything. Okay, just a little teeny tiny spot. Perfect. And just a little. Okay. Perfect. Guess I don't need that anymore. There's just a couple things left to do though. First one I was gonna do is just tidy up your eyebrows a little bit. Yeah, just get the hairs that are all the way out of the place. Exactly. Which random little thing is, so I like to do this when I do barbershop role plays, is your eyebrows, just to do some snipping and plucking triggers at the end, just to break up the long chunks of other triggers, because normally the chunks are a bit longer in barbershop roleplay, so I like to end with something shorter, like plucking, and then snipping your eyebrows. But when I'm writing the tags for a video, one of the things I want to use for this is plucking and snipping, because it is plucking and snipping, so those are the trigger words. And that's what I'm doing. So I feel like I should use those trigger words in my tags. But for you ASMR aficionados out there, you might know that plucking and snipping is usually associated with Reiki, like cord plucking and snipping. And so I always think, is it better to include it because it is included, or am I just getting people who were actually looking for a Reiki video And now they've ended up on a barbershop video because they might not be happy about that. But who knows what the right answer is? Nobody knows the right answer when it comes to YouTube. It's an enigma. But last final thing I'm going to do is tidy up your nails a little bit. Mostly because I was doing my nails the other day and I realized my nail kit has an interesting textured bit that I thought might sound nice. Which this was a present. I would never buy myself a whole kit for nails. I was never that into nails before, since I was a cook for a few years, so you could never get your nails done. It would be kind of pointless. But this one looks like a surgical torture kit. I've never even used these. What do you need those for? What's going on with your nails that you need like a car tool? Not a car tool, but a heavy duty looking thing. Anyways, we're just gonna use the one normal sized. That might have been too loud. The normal sized little thing. So if I could get your hand. Thank you. Apparently I'm bad at this. And your other hand. Which also, because I was a cook for so long, I've also never gotten a manicure. Because I never did when I was younger, because I was a cook. And so, yeah, I've never seen them as a necessity. And now I think, why pay someone money when I could do it myself? Which I know I'm not that good. So I know it would look way, way better if a professional did them. But I don't know. Maybe I will one of these days treat myself, as they say. But you are looking fabulous. I'll just finish by brushing off some of the extra hairs, little bits that are just left over. And then that way we can finish with a very, very gentle and delicate face brushing. But since we are finishing up, thank you so much for everyone. Thanks to everyone who came to the live premiere. Hi, you guys. Yeah, you got some finger guns. But even if you aren't at the live premiere, that's okay too. Also, if you guys just heard, my laptop fan just kicked in, which has happened a couple of times while I've been filming, but I've edited it out. But I'm very close to the end, so I don't want to pause. So now you guys can hear what my laptop fan sounds like when I keep it in. I think I just need to get some compressed gas or something to clean out the fan, because hasn't really done this before, but the last 2 filming days it'll turn on every 8 minutes or so for a couple of minutes. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Love you guys. Love all you guys. Whether you're watching this on premiere day or a year in the future, you're the best. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and comment, because that really supports me. It helps me on a load, but I hope you had a lovely time hanging out. And I'll see you next time.